This podcast is for general informational purposes and entertainment only and should not be considered medical advice. Dr. Ashley is not responsible or liable for any advice, course of treatment, or other information you obtain through this podcast, and neither am I. So if you have any real problems, go see a doctor in person.
This is The Full Release with Mo Mandel.
And Dr. Ashley.
Here comes the bride.
Mo.
Here comes the groom. What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
We're
Married.
married. I was going to say we're
married.
back, like the podcast, but yes, more importantly, we are.
Fuck the podcast. Well, no, don't fuck the podcast. But we are married.
We did it.
We did it.
You know, it is crazy. Like, we started the podcast, I think, when we had been dating about 6 months, maybe less. No, just around 6 months. And now,
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And now it's 3 years, and we're married.
Fucking
So,
crazy. We did it. So this is a
we did
success.
it.
So this is all the hard work's beyond us.
so thank you to all the listeners, new and old, who have joined us on our journey of like being dating and then being engaged.
That's true. They've really witnessed us from. I live streamed us having sex on my OnlyFans.
He literally didn't do that.
I don't think OnlyFans was around then.
Don't look for that.
Oh, before we get too far, we're on YouTube. This is on
yes.
YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel now. So it's The Full Release on YouTube. If you, for some reason, I don't know if it's like searchable yet. So if you type in The Full Release, it might take you to like some of the clips I put on my YouTube page. But below in the little description, you'll see the link for our YouTube page. And if you look right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see us in our wedding outfits.
Wedding outfits.
Wedding outfits.
Yeah, that's right. I am wearing. Okay,
tell us about your gown.
Tell us what you're wearing. Well, yes, I am wearing a dress by Berta Bridal.
Berta
yes,
Bridal,
very
am I right?
exclusive brand. It actually is a phenomenal brand, and I love this dress and this brand. And it was like super expensive. And last year, before everything shut down for COVID, we were in New York for Thanksgiving. And I went on like a Sunday by myself to the showroom where they have the samples.
Amazingly enough, my fashion taste was not needed that day. You didn't feel the need for me to come to consult on any of the garments.
Well, babe, the groom is not supposed to come with you.
Oh, that's true. That's
right?
true.
Because then you're going to see it.
I also didn't want to come.
Right. Yes. But most definition of a nightmare would probably be like doing any sort of women's clothes shopping in general. But
or just clothes shopping. I hate shopping in general, but let's also be clear. I mean, I don't know if this was the first day that you went out shopping for the dress, but there was at least 472 days that you went out shopping for the dress.
No, I did lots of online research, and then I went to one or two places here in Portland, and then because my mom had not gone wedding dress shopping with either of my two sisters who have already gotten married. They didn't take her shopping with them, and so she was very like distraught about that.
So it was a power move.
So
we did a power move.
It wasn't. It was a power love. It was a powerful love move.
So this was more about
I did it for
your
her.
mom, not like just one-upping your sisters.
No. And also it was also a matter of like my vanity because I wanted an amazing wedding dress. And I, New York is just what matches New York when it comes to fashion, like I live, and I'm not just saying that like from watching TV, like I lived in New York City for 6 years. I lived right outside of New York City for the rest of my life before I moved to the West Coast. And, just like the variety of things you can find is just incredible. So,
I used to have this friend named Carrie Bradshaw who wrote a column.
He was never friends with her.
And she used to wear these strappy sandals, and she was
I'm
very
impressed by how much
fashion.
you know about this.
I've watched every episode of Sex and the City.
No, you haven't.
I have.
Oh my God.
Test
You've
me.
watched
Test
more
me.
than
and
I have.
I've read
then.
the book.
Yeah, it's not when you look back and look at the episodes now, you're like, this is not for our generation. You know what I mean?
It's funny because, so many
like
things.
it was important. I mean, it's still important for the place that it held in the time, but you realize that it's already like behind the times.
Well, it's also funny, Sex and the City, because I think a lot of people feel this way. It's one of those hit shows where everyone's least favorite character was the main character.
Was that true?
It was for me. I thought Carrie was so annoying.
Every guy thought that the brunette was the hottest.
Yeah, she was definitely the hottest.
And of course, but she also
Charlotte.
right, and she also happened to be the most like stereotypical female who
Yeah.
like was like subservient and like kind and like wanted to be a mom.
Well,
and,
let's
like,
just cut the bullshit. Who are you? Are you a Samantha? Are you a Carrie? Are you a Charlotte? Or are you a who's
I'm
this?
none of
Who's the
them.
skanky one?
I don't remember. I don't know. I wasn't any of them. Like I wasn't any of them. They're not. None of them were like gross enough for me. Like
I feel like no.
like
I
they were
would
all
say
polished.
you're-
They were all more polished than I am.
No, I think you're like you're a Carrie in the streets and a Charlotte in the conversation. Charlotte was the brat. No, not Charlotte. No, I'm sorry. Who was the lawyer? The red hair one?
Yeah, like Miranda.
Miranda. Yeah, you're a Carrie in terms of you like girly fashion and stuff. And then you're a Miranda in terms of being like a little spicy.
Like a hard ass.
Yeah, a little bit of a hard ass.
Fine. I'm good with that. I'm
And
good
then
with
you're a
that.
Samantha in the sheets.
All right.
Because you're like 46 and real
I'm
skanky.
36. I
Oh,
recently
that's
just
right.
turned 36. In fact, I spent most of the morning thinking about how I want to start getting Botox done. And
Oh,
that
come
made
on. If anyone's watching on YouTube, comment on how gorgeous this girl looks.
Don't
She
need
was
to comment.
radiant on the wedding. I mean, so anyway, are we done with her dress? Or
No,
oh,
well,
yeah, keep
no,
going with the dress.
we
yeah.
didn't finish the story. Basically, that when I was in New York over that like one Thanksgiving weekend, oh my gosh, we went to probably 7 different dress stores, but then there was this one I really wanted to go to where they had this brand, and it was not open on the day I went with everybody else. So it was open on like a Sunday. Everybody else had left town, and I was like, I'm going there, and I just went there, and I loved this, and it was usually like.
But it was-
I think I got it like 60% off.
Wasn't the only? It was the only one that was like on. Was it on a mannequin or something like
No,
that?
none of them were on a mannequin. They're all samples,
Okay,
meaning
it was
that
a
they had been
sample.
like, this was sample, so it had been worn by like a model in a runway show.
Right.
And that's
now
why
it's
it was
being
cheaper.
worn by a model again. You,
Yeah.
a model Miranda for the year
Yeah,
2020.
times. Yeah, whoa.
Oh, we're in Oregon and it's on fire.
Oh, yeah, we should.
Yeah. So thank you to all the firefighters, all the men and women out there fighting fires. Thank you for, protecting us because shit's insane here.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Like you can't see out the window, but it just looks kind of like,
Like a bomb went off.
yeah.
Now, a lot of
Yeah,
people
it
are
looks like
blaming us for these
brown.
fires because the burning of our love was so hot on our wedding last weekend. A lot of people think that, the fire started a couple days after our wedding and maybe it was our burning hot love.
Yeah. Did we even explain that we got married like a week ago today?
No.
And then
we
we're
did not.
like, we're married. Okay, we got
But
married
we've
a
taken
week
a few
ago
months
today.
off the podcast. We're a little rough, but
We're
the
rough.
point is we look good. And then look, you can see behind us, for those watching on YouTube, there is the date of our wedding here on this little thing we have from our wedding, September 6th, McMinnville, Oregon.
And so we got married a week ago today, and then within 24 hours after our perfect
Fires.
wedding, there were fires.
Fires everywhere.
And let me say, like, we had spent, ever since COVID started, kind of agonizing over whether or not we should go ahead. And we decided, just for a number of very, complicated reasons, that there's no perfect time. So we put in a gazillion precautions. Like, we are very kind of.
Well, it's so crazy because we were focusing all on the COVID, right?
Right.
And we did a great job of that. We had people sitting away from each other. Everyone wore masks.
Masks.
Me and Ashley wore 3 condoms on our consummation.
We had like tons of sanitizer. We had the band stage like 6 feet back
I
from
used
the dance floor.
I used Purella's lube.
It burned a lot.
It burned a lot, but it was worth it. And then
Burned a
motherfucking
lot.
fires. So it's like that was
Right after.
and we just barely missed it. Yeah.
And
So
all
thank
that,
God.
yeah, and I think that was just taught you the lesson, like, to kind of take what you can get from life.
Right.
Like it's never going to be perfect. So, the fact that we had to wear masks and be socially distant and have a much smaller wedding than we planned, but had blue skies and fresh air was like so much more, like so much of blessing that we didn't even realize we had.
And
when
so
we had
many people
it,
came
right?
up to me after the wedding. We're just like, oh my God, this was like the one great moment I've felt this summer. Like it
Right.
was just like perfect and beautiful and full of love. And it was great. And it was just like, oh yeah, the world's not over yet. It made everyone feel really
Right.
hopeful. And then fires. You know what I mean? It was like, even as people were feeling hopeful as they were driving out of Oregon, the fires were coming. And by the time they hit San Francisco or going down back towards LA, it was just fucking like, it was like Mordor outside.
I know.
You got to enjoy the little bright spots while you can.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Originally we thought like back in March, oh, by the time we got married in September, COVID will be over. It wasn't, but like, you just have no idea like what's going to be happening.
You gotta like enjoy it while you can.
idea.
I know we thought COVID would be done, and then but at this point, I'm expecting by December there's gonna be a full-on alien invasion, and we'll all be enslaved by like Klingons.
I mean, like
something.
it's not unreasonable that will be happening.
No,
right?
I mean, I feel like
it's
that's
not.
if I was a betting man, I'd say we're gonna be enslaved by an alien race in the next 3 months, based on how things are going.
I know it's like crazy. I forgot what I was.
You were talking about you buying the dress. We were getting to the important stuff.
No, but it is funny. So there's a girl that I know from New York where I did residency. She was a physical therapist there, and she's awesome. And she got married the day before us. And so I was kind of like following along everything that was going on with her wedding back on the East Coast. She got married. But I'm following along because she's posting on Instagram and Facebook and all over social media. And then, we stayed here after our wedding in part because we were just like, where are we going to go with COVID? Where are we going to go?
And also we thought, what would be more romantic than staying in a place that looks like a barbecue pit?
Well, that's the thing. So we didn't know that was going to happen, right? And then I went back to work and I was like doing surgery and in clinic and blah, blah, blah. And then, and so she went immediately to some like tropical paradise vacation place. I don't know where she went. It might be Hawaii. I don't know. But
I'm so jealous.
But it's so funny because like we had these amazing days back to back, and then I see all her photos this past week of like, here's this gorgeous sunset and the waves lapping at my toes, and we're
why
like,
didn't we do that?
And we're like, I can't see outside, and my entire face smells like burning. And I'll tell you guys, the only reason we're doing okay right now is because we made these like crazy.
Yeah, we're like don't let these gorgeous wedding outfits fool you. We're some handy Jews.
Survivalists.
We're survival
Jews.
Jews.
Jews survive. That's what we do.
Mostly it's because Ashley's father was born non-Jewish, and so there's some handy genes in there, I think. Because you were brilliant. You came home from work, and you're like, all right, I ordered us air filters, but they're not going to get here till Thursday, so we're going to have to jerry-rig something. So we went to the store, and we got the last few box fans available, and then I had to go to another store, and we found these furnace filters, and then like duct taped them to the fans. So we literally like built our own MacGyver filter things.
Yeah,
and they work fucking good. I gotta say,
they do. So we are living in a smoke-free box of an apartment.
We're basically like the hottest doomsday preppers that have ever been around.
And we decided that since we didn't go on a honeymoon, we just wear.
We've been wearing our wedding outfits the whole time. Because isn't that how it works on honeymoons? You always wear your wedding outfits?
I thought you always just stand on the top of a cake. I thought that's how you do it.
God damn, I wish that was the one thing I was missing about the wedding is we didn't have a little couple on top of the cake.
I know. Well, how did we like let that go? Like who buys that for you?
I don't know. Somebody should have. Oh, before we continue with the wedding story, this is what's coming up on this episode. This is something that's never been done before.
Exciting. And I have to just apologize. We're not apologize, but just disclose. Don't wait around for a lot of heavy medical discussion because we've got so much to update you on and so many things to share from our lives that this isn't going to be a very.
That's not true. We're doing a live medical diagnosis on the show.
That's more of an opinion a medical opinion piece.
All right, but let's not downplay how great this episode's going to be. My friend,
so
let's call him. Well, even though I said I could say his name. All right, fuck it. Let's call him Tyson. Did
he say you could say his name?
I didn't ask. But he said I could show his balls, and that's what's mostly important.
This is very odd to me.
So, out of nowhere, my friend Tyson sent me a picture of a giant, swollen, bruised ball sack. And I'm not used to getting, ball sacks sent to me on the phone. I don't know.
Ever since you stopped being single, you just have
since I stopped being single,
not gotten a lot of sack pics.
There's been way less sack pics now that I'm no longer single, and it's hideous. Not just because
it's not the overview. You're giving us like the full.
No, okay, you're right. Anyway, what we're gonna do is he just got a vasectomy, so that's why his balls were fucked up, or his wife kicked him in the balls. I don't know what happened. One of those two. Anyway, he sent it to me, and he said we could post it on our website, and then we are going to look at it, and Ashley's going to break down this ball sack. No one else has ever had their wife, their newlywed wife, in her wedding dress, raiding another man's ball sack. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
So if you go to thefullreleasepod.com, we will have that picture up there because we can't put it on YouTube. But thefullreleasepod.com, you can see my friend Tyson's hideous or gorgeous, depending on how we decide, ball sack.
And another aside, so in terms of our YouTube channel, you can find the links to that on our website, right?
Yeah.
And our website is thefullreleasepod.com. Okay. You can email us questions about urology, love, relationships, send us some jokes. You could make up a fake problem. We used to do that.
That's one of our classic bits that we're going to bring back. Real answers to fake questions. So if you got a fake question, throw that in there.
Right. Like, I don't know.
I got my dick caught in a walrus's nostril.
Right. And then we could talk about what potentially would happen if that really happened.
Right. And if that did really happen, I don't mean to make light of it because I know that it does happen
serious.
often.
Yes.
Do you remember the phone number they can call?
213-631-3460.
What was it?
213-631-3460.
Right. And if you go to our Instagram, the Full Release Pod on Instagram, we got the number there. And the email address, thefullreleasepod@gmail.com.
So that's our info.
That's all our info.
And we'll have that also posted. Like if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll have all our stuff posted below the episode.
And Tyson is going to have that tattooed on his ball sack. So for his wife,
he won't.
He is going to do that for us.
Tattooing words on a ball sack is very difficult because of the rugation. Okay.
Well, that sounds like a Tyson
is like,
problem.
as you know, the natural kind of wrinkliness of the scrotum, and it really obscures the words.
Well, Tyson, I know we worried about that. Tyson said that we could put some wiring in his ball sack to give it like a nice taut, like make it like a drum, and then have it. Yeah, this is all stuff we'll get into after the podcast. But go on, finish your dress. I want to talk about my suit.
That's it. I don't have any. So this is a Berta bridal dress, and I love it. And
you look gorgeous. Guys, how about a
Thank
round
you.
applause? How about a round applause on YouTube for this beautiful minx, this beautiful, sexy, vivacious, gorgeous dick doctor? Yeah, do a little shimmy for him, babe. You're so beautiful. Oh, yeah. You really do look gorgeous.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. Well, what
very
I'm
handsome.
wearing.
Yeah, tell us about it. Who are you wearing?
What am I? No, isn't it what are you wearing?
No, it's who are you
it's
wearing?
who am I wearing?
That's what you say on the red carpet. You say, who are you wearing? Because it's always some designer.
Okay, interview me.
Okay. Oh, this is comedian Mo Mandel. Who are you wearing?
Hi. Well, it's a funny story. Do we have time?
Oh my God, tell me all about it. Did your dad want to come with you?
No. So we had gone to I'm not going to say the brand, but we had gone to it was a good place. I bought suits there before, but it's a little bit like not high end, and that's fine because I'm not a high end guy. And I was gonna buy this suit, and I was like, "Whoa, this fucking thing's on sale!" It was like $200. It's like really good. And I look pretty good in it, right?
Right. There's nothing wrong with a $200 suit.
Nothing wrong with all. I own
good $200 suit.
Besides this suit, I own exclusively $200 suits.
And I was saying, I got my dress on like 60% off. So,
Yes.
I was like, I bargain hunted my dress.
Yeah, and I was very happy with the suit. But then we called up Ashley's friend whose daughter was our flower girl. And I was asking her husband, I was like, what do you think of this $200 suit? And then Ashley's friend said, I think our daughter's dress is more per square foot than your suit.
Valuable, yeah, like higher money value.
And I was like, all right, fuck that. I can't let the flower girls show me up. So we went to a mall to get a suit, and then in classic Portland fashion, what happened?
Oh, it was downtown Portland. So then there was a protest coming through. So we had to immediately evacuate.
Yeah, we're having this guy help us out with the mall, the suit, and then this guy goes, you guys got to get out of the store.
Like now.
We're
Immediately.
like, why? What did we do? And he's like, we're clearing out the mall. There's people outside and there's the protest. So then we had to
mind you, I want to make an aside that we support the activism and Black Lives Matter and, the protest for racial justice. However, in Portland, there's been a handful of actors that are, kind of violent and acting out in ways that even, the Black communities locally are not in support of. And those are the people kind of coming through and terrorizing, like shoppers in the middle of the day.
Well, for instance,
right?
when we didn't know why we had to get out of the store, we got out, and then it turned out like I think it was related. There was like a shooting, like someone had shot a gun. It was from one of like an alt-right group that was there. I don't know. The whole shit was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was just it's just been crazy.
So we were like, fuck it, let's just get the hell out of here. It's not worth it. I mean, this is talk about white privilege. We're like, these protests are stopping us from buying our wedding suits.
I know.
It was really hardcore white privilege. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, especially because at the time we were at like J. Crew.
Yeah, which is like the whitest
It's like
store.
so white.
Yeah.
Like what's whiter than J. Crew?
Nothing's whiter than Jake.
Yeah.
So anyway, as we're walking out of there, then we passed another store, and I was like, "Oh shit, they have suits too!" And I walked in there, and I bought an Armani suit.
Ooh, Armani.
Fuck yeah, bruh.
Ooh, we seem so like highbrow. I
Yeah.
will say, like Mo usually. Okay. For the last 6 months, Mo's basically been wearing shoes with holes in the bottom. So, like literally,
That's
you've been
not
wearing.
true. I stopped doing that about 2 months ago. I bought new shoes. So
fine.
let's be fair.
But the point being that Mo is definitely not like a clothes diva.
No,
and,
I'm not a clothes diva.
And we tried on a lot of stuff, and this just looked incredible on you.
It
And so
did.
it wasn't, about like having to do a specific
But
brand.
listen to this. Okay. How many people do you think complimented Ashley on her dress?
This really got to
Every
him.
single person, right? Would you?
Okay.
Everyone you talk to complimented your dress, right?
Yes, but here's the thing, right? Even if a bride's wedding dress is like heinous, like even if it sucks, right? Everybody's gonna come up to that bride and compliment her. Like that's the rule.
I don't
Like,
think
you
so.
just-
I don't think that's true. I think they find something else to compliment. They go, "Oh my god,
What, you look
you're-
so beautiful.
The mountain behind you guys is gorgeous."
Nobody says that. Nobody goes up to like a bride on her wedding day and says, "Oh, I love that mountain behind you."
They go up there and go, "Hey, I'm really excited about the Kamala Harris ticket."
No, they just say.
They just try to find something else to say.
No, they just say you look beautiful. They say you look beautiful. Your dress is beautiful. That's what they
Okay,
say.
guess how many, Ash? Guess how many? I know you know the answer, but let's do a guess game. How many compliments do you think I got on my suit at the wedding?
Well, I know the answer.
How many would you guess though? If you didn't know the answer, what would you think? Like just looking at the suit, right? Armani
10.
bought in the middle of a protest.
10.
Gunshots may have been fired. 10?
10. I would say like 10.
Okay, so that's all you
Like
would. you-
well, I mean, did people must have come up to you and said you look
It
handsome.
was I look good, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean specifically the suit. 0. Including my mom. I didn't
Well-
even get a good suit from my mom compliment.
Well, what do you think that means? You think the suit is not good?
I don't know. What do you think it means?
I think the suit is stunning.
I think it's good.
I mean, I think maybe they were looking for you to be in a tuxedo.
Oh,
You
so you
didn't
think people
wanna
were
be
so
in a tuxedo?
so you think it's my fault?
No, I don't think it's your fault. I'm just saying maybe because you didn't have the satin finishes, and like the cufflinks,
How dare
people just
you.
didn't. It was just understated. It's fine. It's
This
fine.
is, but first
You
of all,
look
this
extremely-
tie from Men's Warehouse is satin.
Yes, and it's stunning.
Thank you. So my first compliment on my suit comes 10 days after the wedding or whatever it is.
No, I've told you like 8 times you look fantastic in that suit.
Yeah, it's true. And I got laid on the wedding night. Oh, for anyone noticing, I also am wearing a little finger cast
So many things to update on.
on my finger because I broke my finger at my bachelor party. So, and all the wedding pictures that you might see online at some point, look for a little broken finger.
So other things, right, to go in to kind of parlay
Let's parlay.
off of the tie story, right? There were a few mishaps, snafus, if you will. And so one of my favorite ones was you went out and bought, matching like satiny black ties for all the groomsmen.
Oh boy.
Which are you and your brother and 2 of your best friends. And you guys look phenomenal, right? And then my brother, he had a pink tie on and he was walking me down the aisle.
Well, there's a reason that he had a pink. Well, there's a reason he didn't have a black tie because he wasn't one of the groomsmen. So
Right.
there was no. He's not going to be standing up there. So it'll be
Right.
me in a black tie, my brother, and then my 2 groomsmen also in black ties. So your brother can wear a fucking pineapple hat because it doesn't matter.
Well, he was walking me down the aisle, so I
Right.
would not have let him wear a pineapple
Okay,
hat.
but fair enough.
But he had a nice pink tie, and like pink was, we kind of have
He
pink
looked good,
and
he
green,
looked sharp,
and
yeah.
that was one of the, the colors involved in the wedding. So he looked great, and he walks me down the aisle, and then he didn't know where to go afterwards, and I guess somebody should have explained it to him. I just didn't realize that he wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
I could see how
Like-
he made the mistake. I mean, he's up there where, yeah, I guess I could see doing that. It was in, yeah. So then what did he do?
So then and he had my like I asked him to carry the sheet with my vows on it in his jacket pocket.
Because
right?
as you can see, there really isn't a lot of room to hide anything in this dress.
Right, exactly. So
you would have had to give yourself you don't have a prostate, but the equivalent of a prostate exam to hide your speech. I was gonna say.
okay, I get what you're saying.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like
In your you get it. I don't need to say it. I don't need to say it. I'm a married man now. I need to respect things. Body positives. So your brother basically just called an audible and tucked in up there with my groomsmen, which I didn't realize. And then I was talking about him in my vows. I wasn't talking about it, but I had one line in my vows about your brother. And people started looking over there, and I was like, what are they looking at? And I'm like, oh, there's Jeremy.
Yeah, so he
just hanging out.
So he just inserted himself, and it was so hilarious because he didn't insert himself like at the end. He just
he
put
tucked
himself
right in there
between your two friends, like in the middle of the groomsmen standing up there. And then I was also looking today at the video. We have this great video of the ceremony, and everybody's then at the end like following us back, right? And he's just walking back down the aisle with all your groomsmen.
I know. It was great. And then, so that was hilarious. And then also our flower girl had a little bit of she's 2, so she had like a 2-year-old
Not even
moment.
2. She'll be 2 in like October.
Yeah, and we had big plans for her. We were like, she's going to be the flower girl, and then she's going to be the ring bearer, and she's going to carry the ring down in this little dump truck, and we had all this stuff. And she's like, fuck that. I'm going to throw a fit, and I'm going to start crying, and my dad's going to have to carry me away. I have my own plans.
I mean, this is probably like ideal flower girl age is like 5. You know what
I mean, it's
like,
a lot.
Like where
she's very intelligent. Her parents are both doctors, so
extremely
she's very
intelligent.
smart for 2, I'm sure.
Yes, but assigning a 2-year-old like multiple
it was a lot.
tasks. Yeah, and so she goes down and she doesn't throw any flower
Not
petals,
one flower. She
like
carries
none.
the flowers and is like, apparently she looked at them and was like, I want all of these flowers.
Yeah,
I will keep. I'm going to keep these flowers.
yeah. So that's she did that, and then what is it? She like basically started crying and like ran back and forth like
She ran back and forth a few times, but one of the times because we had this little dump truck that she was going to pull with the rings in them, and without the ring, she just pulled the dump truck over to her mom, who was one of Ashley's bridesmaids, and then we didn't realize at the time, but when her dad picked her up and got her out of there, she left the dump truck. So in all of our photos, there's the bridesmaids, and then there's this like, there's a little kid's dump truck.
right. So here's the whole vision, right? We've got my brother inserting himself with his pink tie amongst the groomsmen. We've got this dump truck in all the photos, like this 2-year-old plastic dump truck toy in all the photos. And then because of the wind, this juice had like spilled on some of the ceremonial items. So then Mo is wearing this like tallis, which is basically this like wraparound thing. Then whatever.
It's like a giant scarf, like a giant Jewish scarf.
Yeah, it's a Jewish scarf. That's a great way of putting it.
And juice, because we don't drink wine, obviously, so we were using grapefruit juice, spilled all over it. And so when the rabbi put it around me, she's like, "Sorry, there was an accident." And I was like, "Oh, that's probably fine." And it was like soaking wet. So like my shirt,
and giant blotches.
Yeah,
like
big blotches all over. So, and in fact, somebody said to me, and I told them, they go, "Oh, I just thought you had like a weird kind of design on your tallis."
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's what you would have assumed, right? But it was hilarious. And then,
but I'm so glad because it's like, to me, you can get caught up in weddings, right? Like how you look and how everything is, and then you kind of forget that you're not shooting a commercial for weddings. You're not
right. You're having a real wedding.
You're having a real wedding.
Yeah.
And so it's like you don't need these pictures to be like, oh, they could be in Bridal Monthly or whatever the fuck. You want it to just capture the moment that it was.
I know, and it looked so
dump trucks
real.
and all.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. And that was one of the things, like the first few days after the wedding, and it seems so dumb, but I had this hard time because like one of the flower arrangements on the chuppah, which is basically the like wedding arbor, got messed up in the front. And I like in all the photos, instead of focusing on like the gorgeous sunset or us or like our smiles looking lovingly at each other, I'm like focusing on that flower arrangement that's messed up.
I know.
And
That's
it's like
crazy
so
to me.
dumb, but it's really, I don't know. But I'm sure that, once I get over it and also many years in the future, you'll just say this was a piece of the memory, I
mean, well, this is where you just nothing can be perfect because it was damn near perfect.
Damn near
say the rehearsal dinner, the wedding, it was all just phenomenal. Like it was like, I couldn't imagine it even being more perfect. But then there's little things like supposedly Ashley, who I think she has 2 perfectly gorgeous sides, thinks she has one side that's horrible.
I have scoliosis. And so on
but
one
not
of my,
a lot though. I would not know you had scoliosis if you didn't tell me.
Well,
And I mean, even if I knew, I would have still fallen in love with you. But I didn't know that.
obviously you would have. It's not like that big of a deal.
No, I know.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's not big. Like you have, both your sides are equally perfect and gorgeous to me.
Aw.
But one of Ashley's side, she is a little uncomfortable with. And I was supposed to stand on the other side so she could show off that side. And in my excitement about marrying this beautiful woman, I fucked up and went on the other side. So when she was up there, wasn't her whatever side.
Wasn't my good side.
So, there was some thoughts about that. And that's probably one of the bigger issues facing 2020 now. I want to know what Trump's going to do about that side.
It's so dumb, but it's like, and you know what? I think probably 5 separate people said this to me. Just
They said,
not.
you should have used your other side.
No, they didn't say that. They said there are things that will not go as you planned them to go, and just don't worry about it. Like, it will be okay. And I think it's just the tough thing for all of you who have been there, or all of you who are, on your way there or hoping to be there someday.
Or for even those of you who hate monogamy and weddings and want no part of this construct.
Yeah, then apparently this is for everybody.
I hope you're really enjoying this podcast episode.
No, I think it's, for me, I've never spent so much time event planning. Ever. Like, I'm not a party thrower person. I'm like a party goer person. I love.
And not even really that.
Yeah. Well, pre-COVID, I liked going to parties. I just didn't have enough friends.
I was going to say, if I were to describe it, I'm not a party thrower person. I'm more of a Netflix at home or eating ice cream person.
But so I think it's just tough because you feel in your mind that if you spent an entire year and way too much of your free time putting something together, that it needs to be what you expected it to be in your brain. And that's just silly, but it's just hard because of that,
But like there was one moment that I thought was like the perfect example of how we, you can't get hung up on those things. So our dance, which is phenomenal, and we're going to put it up at some point online. We took dance classes and we fucking nailed it. And but when we went out to do it, for some reason something was wrong with the band's like input jack or something, so it was like kind of like skipping or it just sounded a little weird. And there was a moment where we're like, oh, are we gonna keep doing this? Are we gonna stop? And then we pushed through it and we fucking nailed it. I lifted Ash. It was Dirty Dancing homage.
Well, the song wasn't Dirty Dancing.
The song wasn't, but the vibe was.
The song was The Darkness. I believe in a thing called love.
I believe in a thing called love.
Mo thought of that. It was,
Yeah.
love it. That takes me back to my college days.
Oh, it's great. But what it was so great to me is it's like, I know I've been married for 7 days, but I'm going to make a metaphor about it. It's like, it's probably what makes marriage work is if you like, don't let the little things stop you from like doing the dance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, if we harken back, actually,
Let's
harken
harken.
back to the early full release pod days where we were getting, parental advice from your parents, right?
Yeah.
Like they have now a 52-year marriage and they dance. And I feel like one of the pieces of advice that they gave us was to never stop dancing.
You know what's funny? Because in their speech, they said, just make it work, because they quoted that. And I was like, why does that sound familiar? I think that was one of their pieces of advice at some point. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to something even sexier than the wedding.
Nothing
that Ashley
sexier
did.
than our wedding.
Well, this may have been. Ashley, for some reason, decided, talk us through this. You wanted to get a boudoir shoot.
Oh, we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ashley wanted to pay another man to film her in her sexiest
It wasn't
underwear.
filming, it was photography.
Well, let's hope. We don't know what he had in that house. But bring us through that. So you wanted to, before the wedding, document your body in your sexiest underwear with no intention of showing it to anyone really but me, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, first off, let's get this something straight. I did not own sexiest underwear before this because I basically owned no sexy underwear.
Yeah,
If you,
yeah,
well,
that's true.
I just generally was in the habit of buying humongous underwear from Target. That was like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's
like,
quite
you know that one
comfortable.
Golden Girls episode where they strut around in their underwear?
Was that really an episode?
No, but if it was,
Oh.
that would be more the kind of underwear we're talking about.
Yeah, like the type of underwear I like to wear, is kind of like oversized, maybe has a little bit sag in the back.
Oh, it's hot.
Like could be confused for like low quality shorts.
Okay, it's not that bad, but it's not great. But you bought all this really sexy underwear, which was fun as hell. We've been enjoying it, and I keep trying to get you to wear it more just around the house. But talk us through wanting to document yourself in your sexy underwear. Was it for me or for you?
It was probably mostly for me, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
And
I'm glad you have that kind of self-awareness.
no, of course I do. I definitely have self-awareness.
No, you do, yeah.
Well, it was one of those things. I think you and I had been to a bridal show, and there were some boudoir photographers advertising there. And it's one of those things, when you're obviously online doing plenty of, bridal shopping, that you end up, getting like advertisement pop-ups, right? And they start like collecting your cookies and
it's a whole industry. They're like, oh, you're getting married? Perhaps we could take some of your money for this.
Right. And so there are a lot of places where you look at the boudoir photography and it kind of looks like a tacky, like, when you think of like back in the day, like you'd go to the Sears photography studio with the Santa there.
That's what I thought you were going to. That's why I felt fine with it, but I was extra comfortable with it because I thought she's going to go to some cheesy place with like a cheesy set.
Right, and then you put on like,
not the case.
And then you just put on some like lacy things and you do some poses. And there were a bunch of places that were advertising boudoir photography that kind of had that vibe to them. And so I went online to one of my like secret Facebook groups that I'm in for women doctors, and
secret Facebook.
Right, I cannot mention it, but just to say, okay, let me cut through the noise. Right, everybody's going to advertise themselves, but let me cut through the noise and see if anybody's done this and what they recommend. So I, just go to that group and search like boudoir. And it turns out that one of the women in the group was recommending a boudoir photographer here in Oregon. So, and she posted photos of herself that she had done.
How'd she look?
She looked great.
Did you look better in yours?
We look different. But
if you had a guess, though, who's better?
Totally different.
Okay.
Like totally
right,
different.
Fair enough. Just trying to get a little spice
she looks phenomenal.
Just trying to throw some shade. Just trying to get a little online beef going.
You're really trying to.
You're really trying to get some beef
going. You're trying to Andy Cohen us. You're trying to.
I don't get that reference, but yeah.
Andy Cohen's the guy who's on Bravo.
I know who Andy Cohen is, but what does he do?
Like, because he'll be moderating the session of The Real Housewives and ask the questions that gets the ladies.
That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get that online beef.
Right, like he'll be interviewing the women and be like, so why did you say that thing about...
Oh, Ashley thinks she looks better in the thong than what's her name? Oh, right, shit.
Like, why did you say that thing about Natasha's husband? I didn't say that thing about Natasha's husband.
I'm trying to get someone to come up and throw a glass of Shard in your face.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Shard, yeah. So I looked at... Her photos looked awesome, and so I looked up that guy online, and his photos looked great. And then I said, this is something I want to do for me. Like, I think, especially, in my life, I've been so focused on my career and 100 hours in the hospital, during residency every week, and, then going through like being an attending and boards and whatever. And, I, to some extent, there's like some little part of my, childhood self
that wanted to be like in Hustler.
No, that just felt like I haven't, taken the time to celebrate myself, like that a lot of people do that. And, I'm, like I said, I'm 36 and that's not old, but I'm not getting younger,
right.
And so, and also like, we're hoping to start a family soon, and then your focus changes, right? Like your focus changes from yourself to your kids a lot of the time.
That's the part I hear about kids. That's partly why I don't want to do it.
Right.
Not being able to focus on myself.
Right.
Because I love doing that. It's one of my all-time favorite hobbies is focusing on myself.
I know. I can't, we're really happy that we're going to have a marriage where we both focus on ourselves.
Oh, it's going to be great. Well, one thing I thought was interesting about the boudoir thing is I was trying to describe it to somebody, and I was like, yeah, I think she wants to, because I think you had said this to me once, you want to document your body right now before you get older and have kids or anything like that. And then I was like, oh, I kind of get that. And then I was also thinking, like, why would you? There is another argument you made of, like, wouldn't you rather not know how your body's changed?
No, I don't think that's so. I mean, every photo you're ever going to look at yourself, you're going to see how your face has changed.
Right. Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I mean, the point is, you looked phenomenal in these pictures.
Thank you.
You're super sexy in these. I mean, in these pictures and not in these pictures. But it was interesting because, like I said, I thought you were going to one of those Macy's places or whatever. No, this was like a dude's apartment.
Who does this professionally, though?
But he's also a straight dude. So it's like this guy's really pulled one hell of a sweet gig. I
think you're just jealous. Because
I'm a little jealous. I'm not totally jealous, but it is like, I think I should get to take a picture of his girlfriend in a bikini.
No.
No? All right.
But
He also said no when I wrote him online.
It was very professional, and I don't have anything about it. I mean, the other way that I think about it is like I have people in my office all the time who are disrobed, and it's obviously a very different context.
But they're not on all fours pushing their butt up in the air with their back
Can you
perfectly arched.
stop? But obviously the context is very different. But the idea is being that you can be, not all contexts of nakedness are sexual contexts. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Like in this case, it was, in my mind, like a moment of artistry. Like it was a moment of, like, for me, liberation, and it was a moment of self-celebration, and if I never look at them again, or you never look at it again, that's fine. But it was something like, hi, like, you have the courage to, wear lingerie and say, I want to put this front and center. Like, I'm not going to hide myself. And it was this thing that I was scared to do, but I felt like I wanted to do. And we do spend our entire lives, right, photographing ourselves, but not photographing ourselves in a more intimate way, right?
Yeah.
And most people never will, right? I mean, obviously it doesn't seem like that, because if you scroll through social media, there's people
Seems
who are
like people are always in their underwear.
Right. But, for the average person, you're not going to do that, right? And so, and even if it goes nowhere, like, it's just something I have now and that can't be taken away.
And they're gorgeous. They're very sexy.
Thank you. So
can't wait till our kids find them.
Well, that's the other great thing about, like, the modern day, right? Because in the past, if you had taken nudes of yourself, they'd be sitting around somewhere that they could, even if you hid it in, like, a box in the back of the attic, your kids could find it someday, or, whatever. After you pass away, they're going to find it and be, like, horrified.
Or they'll be like, damn, my mom was a bad bitch. And then they'll just play WAP and they'll dance around. If this podcast gets a little more popular and we really want to cash in, we should put up a Patreon where people can look at those pictures.
We're not going to do that.
Or like an OnlyFans.
We're not going to do that.
Okay. I'm actually made appointment with the same guy. I'm going to take some boudoir photos as well.
He does do couples, but maybe he does. I'm sure he does guys too.
Well, so far he's on the fence about it, but you
have a great body, so I would love.
Hey, speaking of great bodies, should we talk about some balls?
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so little backstory here. My friend Tyson sent me these balls. They're his. And go to thefullreleasepod.com if you want to look at his balls. It's not his penis, so don't get excited or horrified. It's just his balls. A little bit of his thighs.
It's family friendly.
It's not necessarily family friendly, but if you just want to look at a sack, go to thefullreleasepod.com so you can see what we're talking about. So let's just sort of break it down first off. What are you seeing? Well,
I like the way you described it. It was so funny because there's medical words for all these things.
Yeah.
But like you had your words for it and I.
Well, the first thing that jumps out at me is how pronounced Tyson's ball seam is.
Right. And for those of you who are just listening, we have the laptop open and we're looking at this photo.
It's such a thick seam. It's almost like a shoelace that's holding this little sack together.
Right. So that is called the median raphe. Okay. That's like the middle of your scrotum. It's called the median raphe. And so I like that you called it the seam.
It looks like a big seam.
That was the first thing you noticed. That was that you called it the seam.
No, do I have a big seam like that? I don't feel like I do.
It's not as prominent. No, it's not as prominent.
Do you think he's more of a man because he has more of a millennials left? That's right.
He has a more prominent
more prominent.
No, it's absolutely irrelevant. It doesn't mean you're more manly. It doesn't mean you're less manly. It like literally doesn't mean anything. So if somebody came to me and was like, "Oh, I'm worried that I have a huge seam," and I was in the locker room and I know.
So I don't have to fight Tyson now
No,
because he has a meteor seam.
No, you don't. I mean, you might, but
let's keep going on the balls here. Now, the bruising on both sides, around each testicle, there's a dark kind of bruise.
Well, it wouldn't really be around each testicle, just on each side, right?
Yeah, why? Why is that?
Well, what did he say was the procedure he had done?
Vasectomy.
Right. So, it depends how the vasectomy is done. When I do a vasectomy, I'll do it all through one incision. But many folks, usually urologists, but sometimes family practice docs do vasectomies.
Ball docs? Is there a ball specialist?
I mean, there are people who maybe specialize in some scrotal conditions.
Scrot doc?
But there's nobody who like only specializes in the scrotum. This is like
So you couldn't describe yourself as a scrot spurt?
I mean, I could say I'm a scrot spurt. Like,
would you describe yourself as a scrot spurt? And should I have put that in my vows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Ashley,
And I would
when
also
I
say-
loved you the moment I found out you were a scrot spurt.
And I would also say that the period of maturation where your scrotum is growing could
Yeah.
be called your scrot spurt.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, my balls are really big. I went through a total scrot spurt over the summer, just in case anyone noticed how big my ball. That's what I said when I was in the locker room.
Like your voice drops, you have your scrot spurt.
Guys, as you're probably noticing in the shower, I went through a bit of a scrot spurt over. It's just like a normal sized kid with like a giant ball sack dragging around. Went through a major scrot spurt, guys.
Yeah.
Same size dick though. Kind of sucks. But is this normal for a vasectomy to have that
Yeah,
bruising?
that's normal. So the guy
Okay.
has bruising on either side, and the reason I'm assuming is that he probably had an incision on either side, right? So some urologists.
Well, I don't know. It looks like there's an incision there, right? Or is
I
that
don't-
just
I
some
don't think
sort
so.
of
I don't think so. I
like
think
a dog
it's
bite that he sustained on the ball sack or something?
Yeah, I just think that's a nuance of the uniqueness of his body.
That's a nuance of his ball sack?
Yeah.
He has a particularly nuanced ball sack. huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, there's other, right? The wrinkles of your scrotum are called the rugae, right? And
Yeah.
if you look on him, there's some like deeper rugae, kind of just off to the left there, lower down. And I think what you're confusing for an incision higher up is the same thing. It just looks a little weird.
Holy shit. I just had a brilliant thought. Now imagine eyeballs here and here.
Yeah.
This looks like Gonzo's nose.
Oh my God.
Doesn't it? Because it's kind of purple and bruised. Tyson's ball sack, if you were to put eyeballs on the other side, it looks like Gonzo from the Muppets' nose. Right?
I don't know.
Come on, a little
I
bit.
don't know. I can't say that. I don't really see
I'm going
it.
to pull up Gonzo's
No,
nose.
I will say
I'm
that
gonna
the
pull up Gonzo's
main.
nose.
I once was sent a photo for Thanksgiving of a drawing of a turkey, but instead of like the comb or whatever it is that they have hanging from their neck, it was like a scrotum. And I would say the thing that a scrotum looks the most like would be a turkey's neck.
Yeah, I could see that. But I
Yeah.
mean, look. I want you to really take a look
No,
at it.
that's not. It's
Come on,
too
look
big.
at Gonzo's nose.
No,
Now look
Gonzo's
at-
nose looks more like a penis.
Well, yes, a little bit, but come on. Side by side, Gonzo's nose, Tyson's ball sack.
No,
Imagine these eyes over that scrotum. You're
no,
still
I don't
not
agree.
seeing it.
I don't agree with this. This is our first real marital.
This is a real
dispute.
first marital fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So another thing Tyson told me about his junk while we were on the phone, and just for clarity, I don't generally talk to
Or
my
on the phone.
I wear texting, but I don't generally talk to my friends about their genitalia as often as you might think. But he said something else that he wanted to know.
Like, so you only do it like once a day.
Once or twice a day. Yeah, I went to the dump.
like every morning you're like, hey guys, send me your photos.
Hey guys, anybody go through a scrot spurt last night? Balls.
Can I say, you saw this photo and you were just totally horrified. You're like, oh my God, what is going on? And
Yeah,
To
you had
me,
no problem.
there's mild discoloration, but otherwise it is 100% perfectly normal. I mean, I don't think you understand the variety of scrotums I've seen. Like, this is just so normal. Like, it's a little purple.
Nobody knows
We
the
just- I
scrotums.
think we
I've
just need to
seen.
normalize the scrotum. You know what I'm saying? We need to normalize
But this
it.
isn't a normal scrotum. This is a
It's
bruised.
It's normal for a post-vasectomy.
You should sit up, sweets, because
Fine.
you're not going to be able to see on the beautiful cameras. What do you guys think of this YouTube? Leave a comment. Subscribe, huh?
Subscribe.
So, doctor, one thing Tyson was also telling me about his dick that he wanted me to have you weigh in on, he said he has a giant pee hole because when he was a kid, when he was 2, they had to recut his pee hole.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So
What's up with that?
a giant pee hole is called a megameatus.
I thought it was called a Chinese finger trap. Isn't that exactly what it'd be, though?
Did you spend your youth putting your finger in megameatuses? Is
Yeah,
that
I didn't even know that's what they were called until right now. So it's called
Like
a
a-
megameatus?
Okay. I'm not a megameatus.
Because the guy, if I had a giant dick, my name would be Megameatus. That would be the name of a porn. I'd be like, hey, my name is Megametus. I'm here to fix the cable with my Megametus. Slap it out.
All right, megametus sounds
Yeah.
cooler. It's meatus.
Megameatus.
So a meatus is like the hole, your pee hole.
My name is Megametus.
So
Bring me to your madam. I will satisfy all the vaginas in the kingdom.
right. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so your meatus is your pee hole, and a megameatus is a giant pee hole. Makes
Okay.
sense, right?
He really is more of a man than me. He's got a bigger seam and a bigger man than me. Bigger man.
So, probably what happened is he probably had a meatal stenosis, okay, which happens to younger kids and adults too. And if you have meatal stenosis, it can cause problems because it can make it very hard for you to pee. Okay. And so you don't want to make it like it's hard for
it was too tight.
Teeny,
So it was like,
teeny, tiny. Yeah.
just like a little.
Like a
Yeah.
pinpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now when he pees, it's just like. Blosh.
It's like the ice bucket challenge. No, that's not what it is. But it is funny. It is funny. To
That's why he had to get a vasectomy because there's so much cum must come out of his penis when he comes. Like, it's just like it's an old man throwing up a plate of soup.
I mean, it's not like that at all. Like you would still just pee normally, but
No, but when he comes, it
But
must
it's
come like
funny
a
to think
sprinkler, or it comes like a volcano.
no. The reason why not is because higher up you have your prostate and your urinary sphincter, right?
Right.
So those are going to be the rate limiting factors. So unless you like cut a giant, like unless you had no internal sphincters or anything, you wouldn't just like blah. Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
Okay, so it's not like
But-
when a dog drinks out of a hose and like most of it
No.
just ends up all. And then he goes, Megametus,
No.
and he runs away. No?
Like his penis says mega.
Yeah, Tyson's penis comes like this. And then he goes, Megametus, and then goes, it sucks back up into his little bruised ball sack.
I'm sorry, Tyson. I am sorry that you're friends with this man.
No, Tyson he was excited about this, so he said we could rate it.
Okay. Well, to anyone listening, if you want us to rate your scrotum,
Yeah.
we're here for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna probably regret saying this, but we'll fuck it. If you want us to rate your genitals, we'll rate your genitals. We can do that, right?
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah. We'll put it on our website. I think you're allowed to do that, and then we'll just rate your genitals and we'll blur it out. So yeah, make sure you give us legal right to do that. And I should probably get that from Tyson before we plug.
Yeah, you probably should. But yeah. So anyway, so if you have the teeny tiny pinpoint hole,
I'm a little teeny
right? So then. Well, it's not a teeny penis. It's just a teeny meatus. Right. Peel. So anyway, so then there's a surgery you do on it called a meatoplasty
Yeah.
or a meatotomy. And those are basically where you just open up that hole and make it bigger. And then if it is made huge, then you have a mega meatus.
So do you
see
think
the
maybe they went a little
transformation.
deep on it? They went a little wide on that mega?
They may have, yeah.
They
Or
were just
maybe
They were
he
looking
has
for a medium meatus.
right, like really you'd want a medium meatus.
Yeah.
But sometimes they go for the mega meatus because they don't want to, they don't want it to close back up. Right. So you'd rather have a little bit of a bigger meatus,
Right.
meatier meatus.
This sort of
Then
sounds a
have
little bit
it-
like the what was the story where she had the porridge and it was
Oh, yeah,
too
like
cold?
Goldilocks?
Yeah, it was just like the Goldilocks.
This
She tried
meatus,
one meatus, but it was too small. She tried another, it was
Ding-dong,
giant. And the other meatus, it was just right. And she sucked that bear's dick. Thank you. Well, no woman's ever done such elegant things in a beautiful wedding dress, raiding another man's meatus. Ah! Your mic came out. Ashley's mic came out. She got so excited. No, it has. I've been watching. There we go. We're back.
We're back.
We're at about the hour mark. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to keep going? I mean,
What else do we have to talk about?
well, we've got this story here, the snake bite dick. Let's do that.
I don't know. I mean, if we're almost at an hour,
Now
how much
let's
should
do it.
people-
These people deserve it. They've been
deserve
waiting,
it?
right?
Okay.
So I want to ask you if you've ever heard of it. This was on TMZ this week, babe. And I read all the good stuff. Snake versus, in quotes, snake. A python bites a man's penis while he sat on the toilet.
Oh.
Now, I looked up. There is
All right.
numerous.
There's no way this is real.
This
Like,
is real. This is real.
Okay, but these photos must not
Yes,
be
they
real.
are.
These must be like, who was in the bathroom with him taking photos
Well,
of
he
him?
he sat down. He took the picture after. So it says
But
an
he's not
18
taking these photos.
right. We probably got somebody else in there, and he's explaining how it happened. So it happened, and then because he's an 18-year-old in Thailand and he wants to make a TikTok video or whatever, he filmed it like afterwards. And the snake.
I mean, what a day and age we live in now, where
Yeah.
it's like anything, something
Oh, I got
horrible.
my dick bit
like-
by a snake. I could probably go viral.
Right, like instead
Yeah.
of being like, "Oh, is this snake going to kill me? Let's see if I can make it a viral video." Which, yeah,
Which he did.
right.
And apparently this happens not infrequently. Well, I guess it's infrequent, but I found a few other examples of this happening in Thailand. So an 18-year-old man in Thailand is going to think long and hard. Okay, anyway, so this guy named Sirapat Maskurkarat, he sat down to take a dump, and all of a sudden a python jumped up and out of the toilet and bit his penis bad. And he jumped off, and like there was fang marks and blood was all over the place. And fucking wild. I mean, you look at these pictures, there's blood all over the toilet. Look at that.
Yeah,
It's a big ass snake.
there's a big ass snake.
And so, first of all, Doc, what would you recommend to any of our listeners to do to avoid getting their dick bit by a python?
I literally have no idea.
Well, come on, you're a urologist.
Well, I
Surely
mean, I
you've dealt
think-
with Thai snake bite dicks before.
Well, I would say mostly that has to do with infrastructure and figuring out how to keep pythons out of your toilets. Like that's not a doctor thing. That's like a
Is
that's
there
like
any
a plumbing thing.
so that you have no doctor knowledge on that?
They don't teach us in urology school like how to keep pythons out of toilets. Like that's something I have no.
You don't recommend people peeing with their hand over their penis or taking a dump with their hand over their penis and peeing through their fingers.
Don't pee through your fingers.
You don't recommend that.
No.
Just sort of.
I mean,
is there anything you should write on your ball sack to
I mean,
keep pythons
you know,
away?
there's a few options, right? Like if you live in a high python area, you
Yeah.
could do a few things, right? Like pee standing up, right? And
Or,
then
but
when-
he was pooping. I think. I don't think he was peeing standing down.
all right. Well, then, yeah. I
mean,
mean, if you're having a bowel movement and you're not voiding, then yeah, you could deflect your penis upwards, right?
what if you just wrote "Don't bite" on your penis?
Doesn't work?
You sure?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Have you tried?
Yes.
You've read studies.
Yes.
Okay.
No, or you could, right? You could also squat on top of your toilet, right? Like even if you don't have a squatting toilet, you can still squat on top of a toilet. And that would bring your bowel movement further away
But
from
then the
your
snake
toilet
might
hole.
bite your anus.
Well, not if you're standing above the toilet.
Right. That's a good point. That's
And
a
you
good
also maybe, I don't know how fast the python is coming there, but maybe, visually inspect the toilet area for a python.
point. Those
you
dick-eating pythons move. They move.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah, we do.
So
we
anyway,
really know about that.
I did so. Best of luck to this gentleman, Sirap Hop Mascarat, and big up to the python too. The python was just trying to mind its business.
Is he
living
going to keep it as a pet now?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
So how much damage did it do to his penis? Like, did he say?
He needed 3 stitches, so not a ton.
Oh, yeah.
His mom tried to calm. Okay, the young man said as soon as the snake let go, it bit onto him. So the snake eventually let go and blood sprayed everywhere. His mom tried to calm him down until Pedix arrived and he took him to the hospital. He needed 3 stitches on the tip of his dick. Wow.
That's not that bad.
And then back at the house, animal handlers were called in to retrieve the snake, which was still in the toilet. It was captured and released. Fuck. So, all right. So that's fucked. But so then I did some digging,
So this is, I love how you really just always bring the animal kingdom into
I
this.
do. Well, we're
You know?
animals, babe. I know you think because you're in a burra dress, you're not an animal. And because you're a princess, you're still an animal.
I'm an animal princess.
You're an animal princess. Do you want to give them a little spin in that dress?
Well, they won't be able to see it because of the way we're tilted here.
Well, here, why don't you stand up and give a little spin before I continue? Just give a little spin. You look so beautiful, huh? Look at that. Oh, yeah. No, no, no. No, no, no. Ooh, look at that. Nice wooey. Oh, look at that frame fitting. Oh, yeah. Good frame fitting. All right, save the rest for OnlyFans. Jeez.
We're not doing OnlyFans.
We might. Okay, so I did some research because, I like to always do some deep digging, deep dive. And I put in other things I just put animals biting penises. And check this out. You ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Are you so ready? Give me a little mic check. I want to make sure your mic's working here. Before
Check.
All right. Check. Okay, so a man in England, this is in 2018, had his dick and balls bit off by an English bulldog. The man was found in a pool of his own blood. He had apparently put peanut butter all over his crotch, and his dog ripped off his whole dick and ate it, and they couldn't reattach it. And he was 22, and apparently he claimed that somebody had held him down and done it, but the police are under the impression that, at least at the time of this article, that he did it himself, and there were other people there watching. So it was like a prank gone wrong.
So there are a few things. So these sorts of cases do happen.
Yeah.
Not just in these articles. I mean, I have heard of them happening in other instances, right? And, sometimes it's, somebody's putting peanut butter, for example, on their penis because they have an erotic predilection to having the animal licking their genitals without kind of an awareness of what they're doing, right? So it's like a very manipulative,
It's very
like
fucked.
fetish
It's pretty
thing.
perverted and twisted
Right.
and fucked. Yeah.
Right. And then the problem is that, like, you can't make something appealing to an animal for, food consumption and expect them to only lick it and not bite it.
Right.
Like,
they're not going to approach your dick like a popsicle.
Right. Like, it's not their fault. Like, I hope that a dog that bites you under those circumstances is not put down, because it's not like, that's not like a violent dog running up to somebody and just biting them, right?
That
Like,
dog's
it's like
almost a hero. I mean, this guy's essentially
Like, it's
raping his dog.
like it's basically stopping somebody from being a dog predator.
Yeah, he's
Right.
essentially raping his dog, because dogs love peanut butter, so he can't not eat it. You know what I mean? He's just going to have to keep eating it
Well-
and licking it. And so he's forcing the dog to do it, in a sense.
Then, and the other reason why some people do this is if it's somebody who, has gender dysphoria, right, and wants their penis off and has no access to
A
care.
knife?
No, I mean, like, well, yeah, I guess, but maybe you can't go through with it, But you hear,
No way.
I'm just saying, you hear of instances where and it's not common at all, but like, under extreme circumstances, somebody doesn't have access to, like, the care that they need, so they do something to lead to genital mutilation.
Really? I didn't know that. So you think this
And
could
again,
be
that's
this
not
could
like a
be a
common thing, but
rudimentary
there's-
trans surgery?
Well, no, but it's that, then you would have to go to the hospital and have, like, the rest of it, whatever it is, but anyway, the point being that,
That
like,
seems elaborate.
I mean, and I'm sure it's like very rare instances.
Yeah.
I've heard of one or two cases where somebody does something, to kind of injure themselves because there's no way they can get access to, the appropriate care, which is sad, right? Like,
So they're like, sir, your dick was bit off by a dog. Ah, damn it. You know what? Just turn it into a vagina. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, just turn it into vagina.
well, yeah, I mean,
That seems
and again,
elaborate.
I mean, this is not something like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is extraordinarily rare.
Right.
There have been
What do
like
you think,
instances.
about 50 times a week worldwide?
No, I have no idea. I'm sure it's almost never, but like I'm just saying that there are instances where you've heard of somebody being driven to the point where they had to do something to self-injurious to kind of eliminate, body parts that they felt were incongruent with their personal identity.
Right.
So
And if you if you don't have insurance and you have a bulldog,
yeah,
get creative.
or if you like live in a country that doesn't acknowledge that or allow you to, have it done or whatever.
I thought we were pretty clever for turning these fans into air filters. This guy turned his bulldog into a expensive trans surgery,
Potentially.
or he just tried to be like Jackass and got his dick eaten off.
Right, but then why would Jack ask me, like, I want my dog to lick peanut butter off my dick?
I don't know. I do think it's going to be a tough dating for this gentleman. My heart goes out to him. I hope he finds someone who loves him, and I hope he finds a way to spin this story so it's less embarrassing. I don't think that's going to be easy to do.
Yeah, I don't understand how this guy did the guy release this information, because how did this get in the news? Like, the hospital is not allowed to
Well,
put
there was
this
other
in
people at the party.
Okay, well then I guess that's it, because nobody who works in the hospital is allowed to speak to the media about patient information. Like, you can lose your license over that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't come on the podcast and be like, oh, well, this weekend, this specific thing happened with so-and-so, because that would be like identifier. I can speak generally about things that I've done, at some point in time in the past, without identifiers. But to say like this specific...
the dog was put down.
Oh, that's just a shame.
Damn it.
I know, that is like, I
You
don't...
bite one dick off.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right.
That's not right.
It's not right.
No, man. If you bite one dick off in a moment of trying to eat some peanut butter or, protect yourself, I think you need to get a pass on that.
Yeah.
Okay. First podcast is a married couple.
Woohoo!
Let's give it a little married kiss. Huh? You look beautiful.
Married kiss.
Yeah, married kiss. It's the first time we've kissed as a married couple. Mwah. Oh, that's true. We did do that.
And not since then. That's not true.
We missed you guys.
We missed you. It's mostly my fault. Mo was saying for many months now, let's do the podcast. And I was kind of obsessing over wedding details. Yeah. And I just needed it to be over to move on with other aspects of our life, like the podcast. So the wedding's over. And
now we're back.
And we're
going to be taking it seriously. We got this YouTube channel. Please check it out. Like I said, if you go to... if you search for the full release, it might come up on my page, but you can find the link in there, and then soon it'll be searchable. And we're going to be making a lot of videos. We got a little cartoon that's being made right now of us.
Mo, next episode, will be wearing my dress, and I'll be wearing his suit.
And I will have peanut butter all over my balls, and we'll see how long it takes actually to bite my entire testicles off.
And what else? And if, just remember, please, this is a call-in show. We rely on your wonderful voices and interesting lives to go forward. So call us at 213-631-3460 or email us at thefullreleasepod@gmail.com. And I think that's about it. We have an Instagram account. We have a Twitter account. But if you send us messages on those platforms, they get a lot more lost in the haze. So our Gmail's the best place.
Gmail's the best place, although Instagram I am checking more. So yeah, we love you guys, and we're gonna get through this crazy year. And big ups again to the firefighters, and also rest in peace to this dog. I think his name was Dick Chomper. And rest in peace, Megametus. I'm calling that dog Megametus. By the way, Megametus should be a shirt that we make this year.
Okay.
Love you guys. L'chaim. Mazel tov. We're married.
Bye.
Yeah. Ashley and I would like to thank all of you for listening to our humble podcast. Please subscribe and give us a good rating. Tell all your friends. And don't forget, we are answering all your questions at 213-631-3460 or at thefullreleasepod@gmail.com. .com.